this has never been told. Weinstein says to my friend, my name or picture, whatever the hell, is always coming up on something. And he goes, oh yeah, he's the pretty one. Yes. Drew Barrymore ran away from home to my house within a year of finishing E.T.
What's going on, folks? My name is Scott Schertzen, and joining me, as always, for Tales from the Film Set and Streampunk Chats is Mr. Davion Bussey and, of course, Mr. Robert Manning. And joining us today, special guest, child actor, best arguably known as one of the kids from E.T., Mr. Sean Frye is joining us. Sir, how are you today?
That would be Steve, the Dungeon Master, played by Sean Frye. I'm doing very well, and it's great to see you guys. You look great. Usually I get talking heads with, like, somebody's closet in the background, but this is so festive.
Well, if it's any consolation, actually the Atari game back there is, in fact, the E.T. Atari game.
Yeah, but it's not your closet.
No, this is my man cave, actually, believe it or not.
Well, there you go. My man cave is actually the guest bathroom, which I'm in right now, which is where I wrote most of my book on a tablet. But anyway.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about that one.
Yeah.
E.T. You do have a book coming out. I believe it's coming out on May 1st. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. Vanity Press.
Vanity Press. Love it. So, yeah, you know what? Let's just jump right into that one.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about it. It's a bit of a passion project in this case here.
Yeah, well, just cut me off when you can, because there's so much other fun stuff to get to. But I guess point being, there's some Hollywood stuff. There's kind of some family stuff. It's a little depressing. I didn't, grow up on a farm. And then there's E.T. stuff. I dive into film. I dive into Fun with Dick and Jane, the movies I started in right before E.T. I got some behind the scenes stuff in the book about wandering around ILM up north when we were shooting the bike sequences, and I stumbled into the set of Poltergeist, which is no one was supposed to see the thing. And so, like, I can tell you, well, in there it describes like what I saw. And then the other thing was basically how many times I've wiped out on a bike, how I was oh boy, I was just the worst bike rider. What can I say? Stuff like that. What can I say?
If it's any consolation,
I could not ride a bike to save my life. Let's put it that way. I didn't realize that standing up on a BMX was required on my, what do they call it? Job duties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not part of the resume.
No, not under special skills. Nowhere. Dialects, whatever, but not standing up riding a BMX. No.
I mean, in this case here, if it's any consolation, I've forgotten how to ride a bike twice. They say you never forget. That's horse.
They say you never forget, and I did twice too.
Thank you. You're not alone on that one.
Good.
So, yeah, talk a little bit in this case here. I mean, you obviously have the experiences from E.T., Fun with Dick and Jane, ABC After School Special in there.
Yeah.
Spinal Tap also got a
Tap
as well.
And Real Genius, don't forget that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn it over to Day and Rob in a second after a quick question. But when you think about the career that you had in the 80s with all this kind of stuff, what are some of the things that probably stand out to you most aside from the bike?
Actually, I love shooting. So anything on location was really exciting for me. I worked a lot up until, several years after E.T. But for me, the location shooting was the most memorable. Like, I did 2, television series things with Elizabeth Montgomery, who was my surrogate mom. Long story. That was out in New Salem. It was took place in the 1700s. So there's that memory of shooting like in New Salem. Fun with Dick and Jane, like we went skiing, it's like the people that I met, and I don't even know where to start half the time with the stories over the years. There was that slide into ET with a lot of work as a kid. And there's memories like going to a casino in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada with Molly Ringwald in the like minus 30 or whatever. But there's random stuff.
Nice. You guys have anything?
I was, because I noticed you mentioned Spinal Tap, and that's one of my favorite movies. So
Yep. Well, what you do is it was a big, long scene. I mean, it was like, Rob Reiner, whoa, 15 hell on wheels, man. And it's still in there, but you have to go to the deleted scenes of the special edition. So that platinum edition, whatever it is, you go to, subtitle, whatever, dialogue and deleted scenes. The whole thing is in there. And I play his son who comes out of nowhere from the past and basically talks about how his mother's a lesbian, and then he's taken backstage and he meets the whatever. You'll see it.
Okay.
When it comes to Rob Reiner, I'd worked with him about, I guess, 30 years after that. It was a Michael Douglas movie. And
Wow.
one of the biggest takeaways that I had is how fast he was.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was back then, but a lot of times when you have actors that are cast, when they become directors, they fly because they know what they want.
Yep, and a lot of the ones that do that, or some, rely or don't have a problem with improv. So, especially Rob Reiner, as you know, Spinal Tap was basically all improvisation. The script looked like we are in a coffee shop. Take it from there, So, and I had no dialogue. All he did was chop, put me backstage during the concert, after the concert. Here's your dad. You haven't seen him. Go. And so, I mean, the lesbian mother and all that stuff just was completely off the top of my head because, here's Michael McKean in my face. And so I was just completely winging it. Anyway, if you see the deleted scenes, you can tell.
On YouTube, by the way?
No, actually, unfortunately, I try to hunt my stuff down on YouTube, and all I get was I was actually in the first Big Mac commercial that McDonald's ever had, and I did like an Atari commercials and stuff like that when I was younger. So I can find silly stuff like me eating cheese sandwiches or whatever, but not the good stuff. I had to get the edition and then find myself blindly in the deleted scenes.
And then run a screen capture or something to save it.
Oh, I'm sorry?
And then maybe if you have to run a screen capture, like OBS or something like that, to record it on, say, your laptop.
Well, yeah. And, I mean, I hate to tell you guys, but, I mean, this was kind of weird and embarrassing, but somebody told me that I was on that because they knew I was in it. So this is like always happens in Hollywood. Like, oh yeah, you were supposed to be in that thing, but they cut you out and you've lived all these years thinking you were in that movie. Well, luckily I had heads up and my agent called me and she had seen the screening before I did of Spinal Tap. And she called me, you guys, I was crestfallen because she called me, Collie Vidal from Herb Tannen, and she said, you're not in it. Oh, first I said, did you see it? And then, no, you're not in it. And that's happened to me several times on Alice, on this random television shows and whatever. But that one, dude, so I'm in the deleted scenes.
Yeah, been there, so I know exactly how that feels in this case.
I mean, at least I made it into Real Genius, but I didn't make it into Spinal Tap technically, no.
But at least you had the experience of a lifetime, which is...
Oh, my God. Are you kidding? Then they took me backstage and they had me improvise with the whole band and they with me and everything.
Nice.
Nice.
What do you got, gents?
I was going to say, so I know you've been in different movies with all kinds of actors. And one of the actors I saw, did you get to have much interaction with Val Kilmer?
No, actually, he escaped me because the scenes that I did were at the science fair in the beginning, like this girl's volcano was erupting or I don't know, whatever. And then I'm this like obsessed autograph hound when William Atherton walks in. None of it was with Val Kilmer. It was one full day, like forever. And no. I mean, I knew Martha Coolidge, the director, really well because I did all the wardrobe for the movie Valley Girl. So she directed that. She knew me at 15 when I did that. At 16, I did the wardrobe for Valley Girl. And so I don't want to say she threw me a bone, but she was such a lovely lady, still is. And she's like, come on, let's, be in this. It'd only been a few years since. And so I did it. I still get residuals, tiny little ones, but at least it says real genius.
Nice.
Nice.
And that actually leads to my second question, because you mentioned Valley Girl.
Yeah.
Doing wardrobe and stuff, did you get to meet a lot of the cast like Nicolas Cage? How does that exactly work?
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? Nick Cage, first of all, to prepare for this punk movie, which I was way ahead of the game. I mean, I was way ahead of the curve on that one. Listen, guys, I was driving stolen cars at 15 right after E.T. Long story. But anyway, so I'm driving with my girlfriend at the time, Dee Dee Pfeiffer, who's Michelle Pfeiffer's sister. Oops. And we're going down Fairfax in my convertible LeBaron. Okay, this is like whatever, 19, God knows. It was before I got married. So 85, something like that, when Tough Love came out. Jason Patrick, that I co-starred in Tough Love with, the first day didn't know what stage name to use. His father was in The Exorcist, and so he was Jason Miller Jr., because his father's Jason Miller, a famous actor, right? And they didn't have the tape on the friggin' trailer yet. And he's going, I don't know if I should use Jason Patrick or Jason Miller or Jason Miller Jr., or there was some other one, Patrick Miller. I think that was the other one. And I said, dude, Jason Patrick sounds cool. So literally the guy comes up with the masking tape, and we were there, and he wrote Jason Patrick. I don't know, how did I get off on this? I don't even, wait.
We were talking about Valley Girl and
how, So I'm booking down Fairfax, and he's right alongside me in his, it was not a LeBaron. And we're like, dude, and I'm like, where are my records? Because I gave him a crate of punk, whatever, post-punk records to like get into character. And I never got them back. And I never got my clothes back. Oh, I got them all back, but his clothes, my girlfriend's belt that I was like my whole high school. And so I never got any of that back. And of course he pulled away, and I was going to the drugstore with my girlfriend. But anyway.
Well, all right. So
TMI.
So like I said, as you said earlier, you're an open book, and that's okay here.
Yeah.
I have not told that Nick Cage story. I don't know, like to my husband maybe once. That was it. That's what I mean by open book, is you fish, I deliver.
I'm a huge Nicolas Cage fan, so when I saw you did wardrobe for Valley Girl, I was like, yo,
Yeah.
we had to mention it.
I actually hired a sketch artist like you do as a wardrobe stylist. Well, you don't do, because it's a waste of time, but just to be nice. And every damn thing he wore in that movie, every scene I had sketched out by a professional sketch artist. Where are they? I don't know. But man, if I had Nick sign one of those, forget it.
Wow.
Now, in this case, Rob, did you have something?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Now, in your case, obviously, you listen to certain people like Mara Wilson, who did Simple Wish and things like this.
Yeah.
The challenge of being a child actor
Yeah.
once they turn, say, 18.
Yeah.
And you see this a lot of times with a lot of child actors. I mean, you use like the Olsen twins, or or a lot of them that Raven Simone kind of worked out okay. I mean, she had That's So Raven and things like that.
Man, she was so funny. That woman was so talented. Because I have a son who's 22, and I hate to sidetrack here, but the Raven-O, the early ones, that woman's timing. Oh,
heard that.
Damn, she was funny. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, in this case here, the challenge of being a child actor. Now you look at E.T. I mean, Drew Barrymore obviously took off.
How deep do you want to go on this?
What's that?
How deep do you want to go on this, Scott?
Follow.
Well, ask the questions then.
Well, I was going to say, when it comes to being a child actor who turns into an adult, obviously the roles a lot of times can dry up.
Yeah.
And there's a challenge at this point, because I think Mara Wilson, when she talked about it, she's like, initially, like everybody, fawns all over themselves, bends over backwards. And I've seen it in child actors too.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they reach a certain age, and it's like, you're irrelevant. We're moving on to the next one.
Yep.
The psychological adjustment to that.
It can kill you. It's killed. I mean, Dana Plato and I have the same personal manager. My sister is Punky Brewster. the whole milieu of working actors in the 70s, children, I mean, Todd Bridges was nothing to me. We did a commercial. He was in the series Fish. We did 2 movies together. It was this Matthew Laboratoe, who I was Melissa Gilbert's first boyfriend on Little House. His brother, Patrick Laboratoe. We all played autistic kids in this movie, A Circle of Children. So it was very not inbred. It was.
Wait, Nick.
No, it was not inbred, but you know what I mean. It was, among people and family, whatever. And it was a very tight clique. It was like being a voiceover artist back then. It was like, what? Like, oh, there's like 9 people that do all the work, Same kind of thing in the 70s as a child actor. There was literally a handful of us that worked all the time and everyone else was trying to book jobs. But anyway, to your point, that 18-year-old threshold can happen to you at any time. It happened to me, to be honest with you. I tried to get work. I couldn't get arrested after ET, to be honest with you. I was always some punk sidekick. Like poor Jason Patrick, me, of all people, the pretty boy in ET, who actually Weinstein identified to a friend of mine in the office. Get this, guys. This has never been told. Weinstein says to my friend, my name or picture, whatever the hell, is always coming up on something. And he goes, oh yeah, he's the pretty one. No, he's the gay pretty one from ET. Anyway, I have a husband. I'm divorced. Very, very long story. So how I got there, I have no idea. Oh yeah, so the transition is very hard. It can happen to you at any age. It can happen to you at 14. After ET, suddenly you can't get arrested. You turn 18. That's kind of irrelevant. 18 is like, if you look 14 and you're 18, then you can work like up the wazoo, because they can keep you like on golden time for 18 hours, no problem, because you're 18, but you're playing a 14-year-old. They worked for a while. The girl, what was her name? Oh my God, freckle face. Anyway, it was the same thing. She looked, I did some after school stuff. Anyway, she looked like, oh my God, she looked like 12 and she was like 16. So she worked like a dog, and then she disappeared, just like the rest of us. My book is called The Slaughtered Princes of West Hollywood, which basically addresses those of us that never made it. And so I quit. I got married at 87. I quit. I was always working all the time in commercials, beginning to end. I was Yahoo, Mountain Dew in like 72. And then up and through For Keeps with Molly Ringwald, then I stopped in 88. I still did commercials though. And then I became a social worker. And then I did that like until I retired.
Good.
I was going to say, you mentioned Melissa Gilbert and stuff, and I saw that you were in Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
How was your experience on that, and did you get to work with Michael Landon?
Yeah, actually, there's a lot said about Michael Landon. I won't get into it. Like, he had his challenges while, making that series. He was everything to that series. That series was nothing without Michael Landon. And I was a pipsqueak with chubby cheeks, with no braces yet, shorter than her by a mile. Why did he pick me? Why? I am forever indebted to the man for doing so. Here's this kid, again, skinny, chubby-faced kid who's shorter than this woman, who's 14 or something. I'm 12. And, God bless her. She looks at me. She's very friendly later on after ET, and she was very, very focused on the set. Not a bitch at all. I didn't see ego at all there. I just saw her focus. I actually saw her focus reading and stuff. But anyway, that other woman with the pigtails went on to be an AIDS activist, and that was kind of turned into something that we didn't think it was. And so, but anyway, with Melissa, I am proud to say that the first time on that series, they had that poor woman at 14, looking 12, sleeping in her bed, weeping that this skinny, chubby cheek kid that was like 3 inches shorter than would not ask her to the dance. crying in her bed in that rustic wooden loft thingy. And then, of course, I asked her, and then everything's peaches and whatever. But yeah, I was her first boyfriend. And then she went on to like have like real boyfriends, but I was like her crush, where she crawls into bed at 12 and cries.
Oh, that's awesome. And actually, next weekend I'll be seeing Allison Amgram, which I know she was on set with you as well. That played
Yes.
Patrick
No
Laverty
comment.
too, I think, next week, right?
No comment.
Patrick, yes, but it was Matthew that was in the scene, not Patrick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Which one now? Which?
Yeah.
Oh, Matthew Laverty. Yes. Matthew and I did a movie called Circle of Children where he, Todd Bridges, Matthew Laverty, myself, Kyle Richards, who you know from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She used to be a tiny little actress when I was working and she was working. There were go-to people. She was the go-to wafy little whatever girl. So we did this movie, Circle of Children. Matthew played, this autistic child, and she played this autistic child nonverbal. And yeah, so like I said, it was that circle. Like ironically, the movie's called The Circle of Children, but that actual TV show, they used to call it Movies of the Week. Actually, strangely enough, that movie captured like most of us.
Nice. So you mentioned the book a little bit. I know in this case we got, we will tease and we won't tease, I think.
Yeah. It doesn't, people will find the book. The book will find them. I wrote the book for myself. The book was 20 years in the making. It was basically, a trillion Post-it notes in my head about everything that had happened to me. And so over a month, I vomited Post-it notes into a tablet. And that's the book. And I would love that the book is actually on donation basis. We struggle. I live on Social Security disability. My husband has tremendous medical bills because he's borderline emphysemic and all that. So yes, there is a donation attached, requested, not suggested, not appreciated. Yes. Everything else is just the cost of the book. So I just want it out there. And I don't know how much you want to get into the book because we're 22 minutes in. There's lots to talk about, but the book is pretty scathing. Yeah.
Scathing how?
It torches like an anthill. Like if you were to take like a flamethrower to an anthill, you have to like torch the whole anthill. In other words, you can't like sprinkle stuff on an anthill. You have to torch it. You have to torch it and watch it go down and burn. And that's how I kind of did it in the book. It's not graphic. I mean, it's PG-13 for sure. I think I say the F word like once. And I don't describe anything graphic at all. Are there lots of celebrities in there that walk out of it less than pleased with me? Yeah, there's like American Sweetheart from television. If you get the book, there's the name. So I'm not out to take people down, and it is not a kiss and tell. It is my life. I was a member of 3 trade unions in 1971 where I was going Yahoo Mountain Dew at 7 years of age, and I quit in 88. I quit movies in 88. So that's it. It's just, hey, this is what happened to me. It is ugly. I mean, there's lots of really cool behind the scenes stuff like ET stuff. No one never would have known. The people that I mingled with, like very, very tight with a lot of celebrities and whatever. But yeah, some of it's ugly. But it's happy in the ending. The ending is like a real tearjerker and it's uplifting. Believe it or not.
Good.
So I know one thing that's mentioned in the book, and I did want to, how was your experience with Steven Spielberg? I know it's teased a little bit in the book.
Yeah, I'll tease away. I mean, there's going to be a second book, and I already have the volume 2 of that in my head, and my husband just bought me a new tablet, so And then I have 2 other book ideas after that, which is more like, yes, there's some acting jobs with like lower level acting, like tidbits that, don't involve massive celebrities, but they're still, movies and whatever. Stephen was fascinating. Very innocuous at first. I mean, there was Jaws and Close Encounters. That's all we knew at that point, right? So he wasn't like Mr. Spielberg. He was Steven. He had done Jaws and he had done Close Encounters. And like Indiana Jones was like a twinkle in somebody's eye. I know that it had already been made. There were no posters for it. It was like a ghost project when he was doing E.T. So I met the man, young guy in his 30s, right? I'm way beyond my years for 14. And I just scrolled into the interviews, just all like kind of post-punk, I had my like cool boots on and whatever. And it was just like this, just kind of like smooth transition into the project. Like out of the gate, he puts me in 4 folding chairs. Me, Drew, Casey, I think, was on board by then, or Tommy wasn't on board because Tommy came in late for reasons I get into the book. But so anyway, 4 of us, and all they said was, "You're in a rocket going to the moon, and just wing it." So all 4 of us are in these chairs, just, whatever, improvising, obviously going to the moon and whatever. And that was it. I mean, literally, I may have done that twice. I don't even think so. There was a first call and a call back where I did the chair thing. Next thing I know, my agent calls me at my house and says, "You got it." And I leapt so hard off the patio into the yard. I thought, what in the hell are you doing? You could have broken your ankle and everything's off. All bets are off. I didn't. The rest is history.
Nice. And like you said, you still get the residual checks on that. Doesn't count.
Yeah, but here's the thing about residuals. I don't get into the book, but I post a lot on my Facebook page, which is an open page. I really understand the fans. Sometimes I love my fans. I have spent 30 years developing my fan base, and you don't get that, no offense, by signing expensive paper. I've always been accessible to my fans. My first bag of fan mail was from Japan. Some of those letters will make you cry. And I have, it doesn't make me better than anybody, but I don't do cons. Never have. I've never sold my name to anything. If anything, it has been taken from me. I don't mean that in a bad way. So what I get is the original salary, which is less than union scale today. $4,000 a week for 11 weeks. That was my work. That's what I got paid. Then at that time, what you get is residuals when it's on television or when it's on cable based on some algorithm, which is generous but not extravagant. We were given a $1,000 bonus after it made, $400 million. And then, so I get, people think, oh, wow, all those people seeing the re-release, you must make, well, no, sorry. If they turn it into some totally different flip side DVD version, which doesn't exist anymore, yeah, but otherwise, television, cable.
Yep, and streaming. But yeah.
But that was negotiated only a year ago, though.
Yeah. In this case here, I know that when the checks show up from SAG, your automatic assumption that it's going to be under $1. Apparently, I've got a $5 residual.
Hey, you know what? I will email this. I will email this to you. I've been collecting residuals, obviously, since right when residuals started. And I swear to you, I have a picture on my Facebook page. I got a residual check from Emergency, which is like, I don't know, the second TV movie or series. None of you will remember it. But anyway, it was like paramedics. Oh, my God. They were like famous for 7 years. So I did that. I just got a residual, you guys, from that. I kid you not, it was 00.00. I will send you a picture. 00.00. It was so marginal. I got it in the mail, but your union breaks down everything that goes out to you. They didn't even list it. It was probably less than it would cost them to do the keystroke to put it on there. So, but I still have it.
And
And everyone, what cracks me up is you see people on Facebook, oh, look, mine was for 28 cents for whatever. Dude, not only did I get this 001, I have had numerous that were 1 cent, maybe 2 cents,
Yep.
all from Emergency.
Hmm.
The only thing that's lower than that are the royalties. Royalties mean nothing unless you're Drew and you have dolls or whatever. Royalties for me come in, they can't even send them to you until they reach like, I don't know, $1. And I'm apparently on some chewing gum packs in Brazil. I thought it was a doll, but that was vague because it was German. And a little like Peruvian, I don't know, guys. It comes to like 18 cents a year. So I get a royalty check every like 5 years for $20. Not if I had a doll, but I'm not kicking it out of bed. Don't ever think I'm complaining.
Mm-hmm.
I
It
love
is-
my fans. I know this sounds like
No,
horse manure, but the only thing that ET means to me is tell me when you saw it. Do you have a bike? Were you riding? Do you still ride? Do you have children? Have they seen it? Do they ride? Have you ridden together? And do you have grandchildren? And what was it like seeing it at 9, Henry's age, when it opened, and then taking your 9-year-old to see it? I brought that up on Facebook the other day, and I said, he said, well, you know, I don't have my bike anymore. My daughter has hers, but she never rides. I said, do something for me in my honor. Go ride bikes with her this weekend. And you know what he did?
nice.
That's
Right.
ET to me, not a con. The fact that that man went on a bike ride with.
You okay?
You okay?
Of course I am.
Okay.
I still cry at the end of that stupid. I mean, I
Okay.
still cry, and it's like what am I, 158, and I still cry when I see Henry standing over that thing with the heart glowing in that tarp, whatever. I still cry.
And that's normal. I mean,
Yes.
you know, especially I think that, you know, Rob, I know you have a question, but they always say that the older you get, the easier the tears flow.
Yeah, they do. Believe me, they do. You just heard it. Well, that was a
And
pause.
that's okay, dude. That's awesome. So, Rob, go ahead, bud.
I was gonna say, I saw that comment on your Facebook, and I saw the response, and so yeah, that's pretty cool.
Which one? I'm like spilling tea all over the place, man.
The story you just told about your Facebook comments, how the person said we don't ride the bikes, and then you responded.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, the prologue to my book is like on a yap post that I put out there that it was just the prologue, and it's kind of ugly, so don't read it or listen to it. But like I said, I did not disappoint. I've got every time I offer, I don't. I won't offer the same material over and over again. I know all what y'all heard already, and you're not going to hear from me 100 times. I just think of more things that, 11 weeks, that's a lot of time. So I think of things, and then I spill a lot of it on my page, but believe me, there's enough left for a book or 2 or 4. But yeah, I crammed in as much ET. Like the poltergeist thing was cool because no one, that was high security. No one at that point had seen the monster. The thing. Been behind the curtain. And then all the wiping out with the bikes and having to like change clothes all the time. And, Spielberg saying that, yelling at me that I'm riding my bike like his grandmother would and all this stuff. But good natured. The dude was not like, he didn't have a mean bone in his body. For the record, Steven Spielberg did not have a mean bone in that man's body, unlike many.
Up to which you get into in the book, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be the first to call out who was not, like civilized. But I also point out the ones that are absolutely genuine to the core. Stephen, really, honest to God, Robert McNaughton, devoid of malice. like devoid of malice. And incidentally, big scoop, I think Michael, again, there goes Michael, his character's name. I think Robert McNaughton, this is big drum roll, guys. I think Robert McNaughton turned in the best performance in the film. I don't think, I love Henry, but my stepbrother's Mino Palouse. Mino Palouse was roughly the same age at the time, totally the wrong type, but Mino could have acted circles around that part just like Henry did, but parallel, not less. I can't think in all my experience at that time of another actor that could have done Michael like Robert did. I don't know. And I know lots of contemporaries of that time. I consider Robert McNaughton one of the finest actors of his age at that time, period, male, period. And I think his performance is paralleled at best, or at least, with any of the other performances, myself included, because, I have moments, but, I don't know, whatever. He was spot on. There was no audience when, these hallmarks of good acting. What's going on in his head? Does he look like he knows he's being filmed or whatever? Nope, not Robert. Unfortunately, he went on to other pastures and not acting, because I think it's criminal that Robert does not have either an Emmy or a Tony, because Robert started in theater in New York, well received theater in New York. And Stephen, I've told Stephen this, he's very fortunate to have had Robert's raw talent floating around out there, because that's, again, once in a lifetime. They had Henry's part slated for another actor, read my page, but not Michael. And I still cannot picture another actor doing Michael the way he did.
Nice.
I know we almost
Scoop.
Yeah, we're gonna we may wrap this up in a quick minute. I also want to put the book in social medias in a second. But Rob, you had something first?
I was gonna say, I know with E.T. we almost got a whole different movie, because I know originally Corey Feldman was supposed to play the main character with Henry Thomas, and it was supposed to be a brother movie, but then they changed it where it was with Drew Barrymore with a brother and sister.
Well, here's the deal that I know on that, as well as I've been able to dig down, because I've been interviewed for books and then they get published with different stories about what. I was given a script called A Boy's Life, written by a saint angel from heaven named Melissa Matheson, who my performance is dedicated to in my mind. So there was a script called The Boy's Life. We had to sign NDAs in court. We're not saying anything, whatever. There was no Corey Feldman anything in there. I've heard talk of lots of chatter, and correct me, fans, if I'm wrong, if it's been documented, of him having this best friend part in it that was somewhat integral to the story. But there was still a sister. It was an add-on, as far as I know, that whoever's mind this was in, or minds, or maybe fans tell me if it was like official, it was not in A Boy's Life I read, the original name, the original script. And so it was some convoluted, apparently, thing where he had a best friend. The best friend gets wrapped up in the story. Oh my God, how convoluted is that? Let's just see Henry. Let's just see Robert's brilliance. Let's see Drew's brilliance. I don't need, with all due respect, a Corey Feldman wrapped into this. They slated Henry's part for David Hollander, who was a very big actor at the time, another go-to television actor. Again, not right. Stephen was lucky to find that raw talent floating around out there, which is Henry. And David, again, another kind of Hollywoodite or whatever, was 86. And so Henry got it. So, the rest is history. I mean, Stephen was a wonderful person to work with. The man told me, a scrawny nothing of a pretty boy, on the last day and the last scene, came directly to me and shook my hand and said, "Sensational job." And I'll tell you one other thing that's another scoop. All those scenes that you see of the four of us, those iconic scenes of staring up at a colored light grid, there was blinding, nothing, just a grid. And Stephen told me essentially that I was the only one allowed to smile. And if any of the other boys started smiling, he would not stop the take, but he only wanted me to be the smiling one. Whatever, nice smile or whatever, but I just thought it was weird. Like if they would crack a smile, it was like, no, Sean smiles, you all just sort of gawk. But Robert could do whatever he wanted because Robert was brilliant, and you just let Robert be Michael, and Michael is Robert, and there was no Michael without a Robert, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, his brilliance is unsurpassed in that film too. No one had to tell Robert don't smile. Robert knew what to do with Michael. I know I sing his praises, and he knows I do, and he probably blushing right now, but I used to teach acting. I was a member of the Actors Studio. I actually studied personally with Lee Strasberg, not one-to-one, in groups. And so I was a member of the Actors Studio. I mean, that doesn't make me brilliant, but I've seen a whole lot. And, certain performances rise. Head and shoulders.
Rob, go ahead, bud.
And one last thing. I wanted to ask, do you stay in contact with any of your old cast members? From ET or any of the projects you worked on?
Oh my God, projects I worked on, I lived with Jane Fonda practically for ages after Fun with Dick and Jane at her Santa Barbara compound. Liz Montgomery and I have like a supernatural relationship with each other. It kills me I didn't see her before she passed. God bless you, rest in peace. And from E.T., Drew and I were tight because our families knew each other before, long story, and she used to like sleep in my car, not that I drove, not the stolen ones, in the back seat of my car to and from the set. So we were tight. The only person I am in contact with on a regular basis, semi-regular basis, is Casey Martell. But Casey co-starred with my stepbrother Mino in Amityville Horror. Not that we were buddies then, but Casey goes deep into child Hollywood. He was working very early on. He had a co-star in a series. He was a go-to. I was a go-to. So yeah, Casey and I sort of stayed in touch because we're from an older Hollywood kind of school. But Drew, oh my God, I know we don't have time, but Drew, she had a special message to me on her talk show. They brought my sister Soleil on to talk about her book. Hey, all due respect to everybody. And they brought my sister on her show to talk about her new movie, which is clips of the 90s of kids and whatever. And Drew did nothing but talk about me with big, huge pictures of me behind both of them. And not that I would, she was not trying to pull a fast one, but I just thought it was really funny that we kind of sort of connect. And I'll leave you with this. Drew Barrymore ran away from home to my house within a year of finishing ET and begged me to keep her there for 3 days. I'll leave that cliffhanger with you unless you want to know more because I'm an open book. But yeah, she wriggled her way out of a restaurant engagement with her mother and several other people. She had taken my address information, again, because we were kind of tight, whatever, a little bit. And I opened the door to my house. I swear to you guys, there's an 8-year-old Drew standing there. She had finagled a cab from the restaurant to my house saying it was her home. And she showed up and she wanted to stay with me for 3 days. Of course, I couldn't. I contacted El Coyote, which was the Mexican restaurant in Los Angeles that she had abandoned her own mother. And of course, the mother was halfway through cardiac arrest. And I'm like, her name was Ildiko at the time. It's Jade or I don't know, whatever it is now. And I'm like, Ildiko, don't worry. She's here with me. She raced over and I don't know how she didn't have a heart attack, but it was hard for me to tell Drew that she couldn't stay with me. It was just weird. And she knows it and I know it. She still remembers it. And it's actually been misreported on YouTube that she ran away to my sister's house, Soleil. What? I mean, they're the same age. I had a house, like Soleil was what, like is napping, you know? So yeah, but it was me. And you know, like I said, I'm not out to like expose anybody. The good people know who they are, and the other people know exactly who they are, and I'm still here.
Nice.
And my book is called The Slaughtered Princes of West Hollywood. And again, my life is an open book. So my email is my name straight through 66 at Gmail. That would be Sean Frye 66 at Gmail. I may be starting like a pre-sale list, you know, just because I'm only going to make like 25 books at the outset. I am not rich. So if I have like a pre-sale list or whatever, you know, those people are going to basically be the lucky ones to get a brand new, fresh smelling, colorful, illustrated book. Anyway, whatever details, email me. My number's on my Facebook page. There's no way not to get a hold of me, and that is my hallmark as a celebrity. That is my accessibility.
That's awesome, especially in this day and age. So respect to that big time.
Total transparency, guys.
Yeah, we've read the book. It is absolutely captivating. 100%. Yeah. So.
Oh my God, you read it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you sent us the pre-copy of it.
Oh, well, see, I forget. Hey, guys, guess what? Since the one I sent you, I'll leave you with this again, a longer story, longer. An hour or two before this taping, I finished my additional chapter, my bonus chapter about me in high school. That's chapter 10 now. It was 9 chapters with a prologue and an epilogue, which you read. There is now a fat ass chapter in there about me in high school. So it's 10 chapters, a prologue and an epilogue. And with the new chapter, I'd say it's 70-minute read straight through.
But yeah, we all 3 read it because I know that was one of the things you asked us to read it before the interview. And so I made sure Scott had it and Jay, so we all could talk about it.
It's all good. No worries.
No wonder you guys are so brilliant with this interview, because you read the book.
We pre-gamed on this one, I'll tell you that. So.
Oh my God, you knew exactly what you were doing, you guys. I didn't even know you guys read the book, because I sent it out to like, I don't know, half a dozen people, the important people like you, with the fresh ones that will never change. I signed it, but I forgot that you guys, well, of course, pass around toilet reading, and wow, you all read it. Okay, I feel exposed.
Don't worry, it's only staying in this small little group.
No, y'all, I would have sent 3 separate ones, but
it's okay. But
you'll get a copy of the Vanity Press when I press it. Hopefully, I'm really shooting for May 1st.
Okay. So yeah, it's coming up very soon too. So
Yep. Don't remind me. I gotta pay for these Vanity Presses myself, so it may be like $9 or whatever more than you're used to donating, like at Bookstar or whatever. But I mean, $9. There's handling all this crap with a Vanity Press. I mean, the damn things cost like an arm and a leg to print anyway. Not an arm and a leg, but damn, give me a break. $20 to print this thing, or whatever. I just want a name on the cover. But my book is color illustrated, so there will be that.
But yeah, Mr. Frye, we do appreciate the time.
Oh my God, I'm so glad, you guys. This is like cathartic to me. That's why I always do podcasts. I am like foam at the mouth, piss down the side of my leg, and shit green peaches every time the right people ask me for a podcast, and y'all have been the best.
Right back at you.
Maybe because you read the book.
Let's definitely talk. Yeah. Keep us posted on everything, please.
Anything. I will guest you anytime you want. Anytime.
100% our privilege. So.
Okay. If you want it.
Yeah, I'm fine.
There you go then. If I had video on this, if I didn't, wouldn't turn your hair white from fright by looking at me, I am giving a thumbs up.
Well, thank you. We'll return the favor on that one.
Yay! Fist bump, fist bump.
There you go. So
there you go, Dave.
much appreciated. Stay well, sir.
Yeah.
Take care.
Oh, please. Thank you so much. I so appreciate it. Really, I do.
Same here. Stay
Same.
well.
Okay. Bye-bye now.